So a couple of weeks ago, guys, me and my friend did a talk show / podcast thing on my Twitch channel, and the theme was films. So I had a really creative suggestion of, we could create a kind of storyline ourselves and present it on the podcast. So we create like a synopsis of a film, nothing in like super clear detail, but like the basis of a film, the main kind of objective of the film and some of the main characters as well, and we'd like pitch it on the podcast and on the talk show for people to hear, and he thought that'd be really interesting, and it turned out to be really engaging as well. Like everyone in chat was really listening and really engaging with us and giving us their thoughts about it as well. So I thought I'd put it on my YouTube channel here for you guys to see as well. It's really cool. I'm going to put both of our ideas on this video. Make sure to let me know and let Organize know as well what you think about our films. Which one do you think was better as well? Let me know in the comment section down below. And how would you kind of make your ideal film? What if you had the chance to pitch the synopsis of a film to somebody? What kind of film would you pitch? Would it be action? Would it be comedy? Would it be like a horror film? Let me know in the comment section down below. And yeah, enjoy the video, guys.
Yeah, you can go for this.
Alright,
I can
so
flip a coin or roll a dice if you want, but I think you should go.
Okay, I'll start.
I want to hear this.
Alright, so here we go. Don't slate me too much, chat. I'm not I'm not saying that I'm a good director. I'm not like super creative, but the film that I came up with. So obviously, as I said, I was thinking about the theme first, and one of the best themes that I like in a film / TV show is time travel. So I really wanted to get like a film to do with time travel. Again, obviously that's quite hard to do because like time travel is such like a obviously it's a concept that doesn't actually exist, right? So it's very like foreign. So, but I really want to do a time travel one. So what I've done is I'm going to set the scene first. So this is like in the not so distant future, maybe a couple years from now. I don't know exactly how long. And basically time travel like just got invented, right? By whatever, like it got invented by the scientists, and the protagonist is some like rich dude, right? He's got like he's like really rich, he's like successful, but he isn't like happy with life. He's like really greedy. He wants more. Like even though he has so much, and obviously like the first part of the film will be like describing his life and like what he does and stuff. But even though he has so much, he still wants more. Basically, like he's really greedy. So somehow he gets his hand on the time machine that was just being invented. I haven't like figured out the how and stuff, but like basically he gets his hand on the time machine and he basically like experiments with it. This is really cool. Like he experiments and he goes forward in time, basically. He goes forward in time, but the first time he goes forward in time, he kind of like the time machine kind of like broke or like has a glitch, and he basically can't go back, and he can only go forwards. So that's like the whole So basically somehow the time machine like fucked up. He can only go forwards now. So he has to like start his new life in the future, basically. And he's kind of like excited about this first because he's like, oh, my old life sucked. Like maybe he had some problems. I was like, oh great, I get to like go into this future world and like start again, like build my life and like have this perfect life, right? So he sets out to do that. He explores this new world. I don't know exactly how far into the future. Maybe you guys can like give me a suggestion, but basically it's like completely new world and we get to see all this stuff. But because he's super greedy and like he's kind of this really like selfish person, whatever, like he's not a very good person, right? Basically what I'm trying to get at. He kind of like like the little bit of inconvenience that happens in this like new life, he basically uses the time machine to go again. Like he just basically escapes whenever there's some hardship because he's like really rich and like really like stuck up. He's never like experienced anything hard in his life. So like the fact he's in this like new world, he has to do everything himself. He's not used to that. He doesn't like it, and when anything goes wrong, he just kind of wants to run away. So he basically time travels again into the future. Because he just like, he's kind of like addicted to this time travel. He wants to like find perfection. He's not happy with just okay. He wants to like build this perfect world, right? Which obviously, as we know, is unattainable. You can't really have perfection. So he just keeps going time forward, and there's going to be like maybe this time like lapse of him just keep going, jumping forward, and like he's going to jump forward many times. And obviously he still ages, right? Obviously he's gone through like many years and many different like stuff. But he's still because he stays in these different time periods like for a couple years maybe or something like a time.
Oh,
so
so eventually,
I thought
you meant when he goes forward in time, he becomes.
Oh no! When he goes forward in time, he's still the same. Yeah, like he's the same. Yeah, he's the same. No. But because he like stays in the time period a couple of years or whatever, he obviously gets older. So eventually he gets to this period, and he's like quite old now. And he meets this girl, and they're gonna show like basically their love story, like they fall in love and whatever, and like they do this thing. But unfortunately for him, when he meets this girl, like he's already like really old. And eventually, kind of like the sad bit of this film is that he discovers that he like has an illness, basically due to the time travel. Somehow, like he gets this like illness. So he's like, and kind of like the sick feeling of like, okay, I've just found this like perfect girl, like the love of my life, possibly, but now he's kind of like, you know, basically gonna die. And I guess the moral of the story is like, you shouldn't, you know, search for perfection. He should have just been happy with. He shouldn't just kept running away. He shouldn't have just kept like wasting time. And even though like ironically he had like a time machine, he actually didn't have enough time in the end because he spent his whole life running from like, I guess, himself and like what he was scared about, all these like little things that were like, and obviously there'll be these different moments that happen in the film. Obviously I haven't thought about that specifically, but basically the whole moral is, okay, eventually like he finds like this perfect reality, but it's too late because he hasn't, like he's waited too long. He hasn't seized the moment. And that's like the whole moral. So it's kind of a sad film. I was thinking about it, do I want to be a happy film or a sad one? But I felt like I want to be kind of like meaningful and have like a kind of a story to it. And kind of have like a, you know, meaning to it. So I kind of went for the sad route. And yeah, that's basically it. That's basically the film. Like that's the general idea. Yeah.
So is the message that you can never find perfection?
It's kind of like, it's, yeah, kind of you never can find perfection and you should be happy with what you have. Because he was already really rich. Like, he had a lot of things, but he just wasn't happy. He wanted more. He wanted to be, like, you know, the richest in the world. He was, like, this really, like, arrogant, greedy person. And he didn't, like, he never looked at, like, and he never did anything for himself. He never looked at, like, other people who had, like, nothing. You know, he thought he had nothing, even though he had a lot compared to other people. So I guess the moral, like, that I want to kind of portray is that you should just be happy with what you have. And you shouldn't, like, search for perfection, because if you do, you kind of, like, bites you in the arse in the end. So... yeah, it's quite a sad film, but yeah. What do you think? That's pretty much it, though. What do you think? Initial thoughts.
There are two things.
Okay.
I will say the less deep thing first. Get that out of the way.
Okay. Oh, there's a deep thing. Oh no.
You mentioned.
Yes.
You mentioned like in the first couple minutes that you don't know how he would get his hands on the time machine. Very simple fix. He's rich. He can buy it.
Okay. So you think he just like? Yeah, but it wouldn't be out for sale though, would it? If they just invented time travel.
No, but he'd maybe buy the patent from these scientists.
So you think
he would just make it?
Well, that's a good idea. For him. Okay, yeah.
Because he's rich, right? He's super rich. He can do it.
Yeah, definitely try and add things to my story. That's because obviously this is not fleshed out at all. I think that's a good idea.
Sure. The second thing, and this is like a bit of the deeper thing.
Okay.
I'm kind of getting a different message from it.
Okay, what's the message?
Because in the end, he does end up finding perfection, right? Because he meets the love of his life.
Well, he does,
he's
but
found perfection.
But he dies before he can experience the world with her because like he's too old or he has this illness. Like he doesn't like he finds he finds it. It's like great, I get to. Oh no, I'm gonna like it's too late for me, you know.
Okay, well the message I'm getting from it is that you can look for perfection.
Yeah.
But sometimes you yourself are too flawed.
Ooh. That is very deep.
Because
okay.
Because he's obviously got all these flaws, right? And by the time he gets there, he's hugely flawed because of this time disease and stuff.
But he's also full like personality-wise, like he's super greedy, super selfish. Yeah.
It's a pretty similar message, but
so you're saying like perfection perfection comes from himself. Like the fact that it's not perfect is because he should fix himself, rather than try and search for something else external. Oh, I like that actually.
Yes.
That's definitely that makes sense. That's pretty good.
Just
pitch it to Netflix. Should we pitch it to Netflix? All these films.
They'd probably take it, honestly. They're making so many things. They'd take it.
Yeah, it's definitely like if we had more time, we could definitely fish out more. I like this. That's an interesting thing. Okay, I'm trying to think now. Ooh, very cool. What does chat think about what does chat think about my movie though? Oh god.
What do you think?
I think that's cool.
Made to be secret. Perfection is not possible, and that's good. Very true, Tim.
That's basically what I'm trying to. That's basically what I'm trying to get across to him. Yeah, from this film, like he just wants perfection, but he should just be happy with what he has. He has all this money. Like, why did he even time travel in the first place? But I need to get those things. Like, why did he time travel? Like, what specifically happened in his life that made him so? I don't know. Like those things, I don't know.
Right. Okay.
But like, yeah, and I don't know. Also, I don't know how to because I want him to like jump multiple times into the future. Like, how would you, in terms of the pacing, because you were talking about pacing of a film, how would you pace that into the film? Would it be like, like a nice, like with music, like little jump cut scene with him just keep going and like, or like, would you actually have like fleshed out stories in between? Or that's the bit I'm not really sure about.
I'd have a mixture of both.
Okay.
What I would do is, first time he moves forward, he maybe sees what's around him. And he's like, nope, and then he just presses the button again and he goes forward.
Yeah.
And then there's like a montage of him just going through all these different time periods, seeing all the advances. That
Yeah, that's what I was
makes.
thinking. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, and just not being happy until he gets to one point, and then maybe this could even be the point where he meets the love interest if you want.
Hmm.
And then he stops traveling for a while.
But then he realizes, like, yeah, it is a bit sad though. Like,
yeah, and then
I don't know if sad films are like the way to go.
Well, it's still a good idea. I think you could probably make it.
I definitely need to change some
You'd have
bits.
to change some things if you wanted to make it happy.
Yeah.
Um,
But like the way I pitched it, there was no like not really any humor.
Yeah.
And not like any. Yeah.
You could have subtle humor for sure. Just
Yeah,
like
definitely.
little rereferences even to the past.
Yeah,
Because
for
you're
sure.
going in the future. So the
Yeah,
things
yeah,
that we're going through now could become memes.
It's like all the COVID-19 references. Just like, fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. I mean,
I think that's a good idea actually.
Sounds kind of like Click. What's Click?
What's Click? Is that a film?
Movie.
Imagine a perfect world. It would be boring and stupid. Exactly, Tim. That's what I'm trying to say. Like
Adam
people.
Sandler movie from 2006.
Wait, let me search up Click. Yeah, but that's what I'm trying to say, Tim. Basically, like how you shouldn't try and search for perfection. You just be happy with what you have, basically. I think that's.
Oh yeah, this does sound kind of similar actually.
Wait, let me search it up. Maybe I want to watch this actually. Fuck.
Yeah, you might need to watch it actually. Yeah, it sounds kind of cool. Yeah, he basically has a remote.
Oh, I
that
see
he
it.
can just,
Oh, it's
like,
got Adam
skip through
Sandler
things.
and Kate Beckinsale. Oh my god, it's 2006. I might need to watch
Yeah.
this.
It's kind of similar to yours, just on a smaller scale. Because I
Yeah.
guess yours is going through like decades.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, you should watch that then. See if it's similar.
Maybe I should. Thank you, Playing, for the suggestion. All right,
yeah.
I'm excited to hear about yours now.
Okay.
How different is
we
it? Completely
go.
different from
That's
mine, right?
Oh yeah, it's completely
Okay,
different.
good.
In most ways. I
Imagine
think.
we had somehow had the same idea. Okay.
I was kind of worried we'd have the same idea, and then I realized, like, I was thinking about what you do, and I was like, no, his is going to be sci-fi.
How did you know? Fuck. Yeah, well,
Isn't it like sci-fi?
we are quite different, chat. So
explain it slow. Okay, I'll try and take you through some visuals too, so maybe it'll be easier to digest. Okay.
All right.
Okay, I want you to imagine
Take the
scene,
stage.
okay? This is the opening scene. Black and white. The whole film's going to be in black and white. Super high contrast. The opening shot is of a diner, and you see a man in a trench coat walk in. He walks in and he starts ordering from the diner. You know, he maybe talks a little bit to the waitress. And you get a sense of his character by the things that he does.
Okay.
So you can tell that he's very methodical because he's constantly like jotting things down in his notebook. He likes to plan things. He likes sketching. So in his notebook, you'll see like little scribbles of details, but also little sketches of just general things. Maybe he's sketching the diner, a glass of milk, as Plang says just there. And yeah, so you get a sense of the kind of person he is. Now, this is going to be set in probably Chicago, maybe the 40s or 50s.
Ooh. I like the setting.
So outside the diner, you'll have all these like sleek vintage cars.
Yeah.
With like the hoods over them and stuff, and like the very the old style metallic cars.
Mm-hmm. Like the black like the black cars, right? Or like
like the black cars.
Yeah,
maybe some interesting colors. Well, actually, I guess there won't be any colors.
It's black and white.
Black and white.
Yeah.
So, but like before they realized that cars need chromosomes and they were just solid pieces of metal. Like that.
Imagine,
like those kinds of cars.
That makes sense, yeah.
So that's the first scene. You get a sense of who he is. He's very clearly a police officer. I think maybe this could be like a little bit where the waitress realizes he's armed. And he's got like, oh, sorry, ma'am, and he just shows him the badge.
Mm-hmm.
And this is kind of like a detective story.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. I kind of got that from how you described it. Yeah.
It does sound like a bit like it's like a noir detective story.
Yeah. Like the opening sound. Yeah. Like he walks in, like he's mysterious. Like you don't know who he is. Yeah.
Yeah.
How armed?
Just a handgun.
It's like two scatter shotguns. Like yeah.
He walks in with a minigun. He's just like, oh, sorry. Hey, sorry.
Has he got
Has
two
he got
guns?
two? I like to imagine so. Yes. So he has like these the suspenders that have the holsters on them.
Yeah. Like like sick. That's mad.
Yeah, he's got two.
Bazooka.
That'd be funny.
Imagine
getting through a door with a bazooka.
Okay, continue.
Yeah, okay. So that's the opening scene. The soundtrack is going to be all jazz, like very smooth jazz.
Very Chicago-like.
You know, a little bit of saxophone in there. Not too much though, just keeping it tasteful. And a lot of the jazz will just be from the locations in the film. So a lot of the film will be set in like these underground bars and stuff. Um, and you know, just very mysterious locations that are maybe a bit dark.
Yeah.
And they'll just have like jazz playing in the background. So it's not too intrusive or anything. But yeah, so as the film goes on, this is maybe 10 minutes into the film, you get to see him visit his first crime scene. And he's investigating a serial killer. A new serial killer's on the loose. So he walks into the crime scene and he sees just complete havoc, just complete mayhem. This might be in someone's house. I'm not sure about the details yet.
Yeah.
But like things are flipped over. There's a body on the floor. There's blood. Obviously the blood looks black because, you know, black and white.
But you can tell it's blood.
I don't like seeing blood.
Is that why it's black and white?
Maybe.
Maybe.
So, and then he sees like on the body there's this note, and it's kind of taunting the police. It's kind of it's like the serial killer's tooting his own horn.
It's like a calling
like,
card.
You'll never
right?
catch me.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah, like a bit of a calling card. Yeah, sure. So it's very clear from the beginning. This is how the serial killer operates. He will leave a complete mess in the general area. They won't find any fingerprints at all. They'll find a body that's been, well, not necessarily brutally killed, but like very, very methodical. It could just be like a, but it's always in the same way, the exact same way, and there's always a note.
Okay, makes sense. He's consistent. The killer's consistent.
Very consistent, very methodical. Just, he always does it the exact same way.
Yeah.
So now, second crime scene. Okay, he's investigating it. Very similar, almost exactly the same, except this time the note mentions him by name.
Mentions the detective.
Yes, the detective who's investigating the case by name.
I'm
and he's kind of getting in some jabs. You know, like maybe some jabs about his past. I haven't figured out his past, but maybe some jabs about his past. I don't know. And the detective gets very emotional because obviously this struck a nerve with him. So he's like, he gets really angry. He ruins a bit of the evidence from the crime scene.
Damn.
You know, he's like flipping things over, just not acting the way a detective should.
Okay.
So he gets suspended for a little while, and he gets a lot of time to think about the serial killer. You can, it's like a little montage of all the things that he does now that he's suspended for a week.
Both have montages.
Like he goes to the shop. It's just got to be very clear that he doesn't know how to handle himself outside of a crime scene.
I mean, it's like he's really okay. He's just focused on his work. He doesn't know what to do with himself now. Now he's being suspended.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
So now after this week's gone, he goes back. He collects his badge and his gun. Gets a phone call. Bang! Another murder. Oh gee. Oh no. This is the third murder so far. This is getting big now.
By the same guy.
By the same serial killer, exactly the same way. There's still a note on the body.
Okay.
Now this second note really, really hits home, and he's gonna actually like fully demolish a whole piece of evidence by accident, but he's gonna do it. And he thinks that he sees the serial killer like stalking around the crime scene. So he goes on a chase. There's a bit of a chase scene, right? You can imagine them like running through the alleyways. But the important thing here with the way this is filmed is that the focus will never be on the serial killer. It's always going to be on the detective. You won't see the serial killer at all in the chase. It'll never even show him being there at all. Because I want to make it very clear that at the end of the chase, serial killer disappears.
Okay.
So far we have a detective who has ruined evidence, and he's now lost a lead because he failed to catch the serial killer.
He failed to catch.
Things aren't looking good for our main dude.
He might get fired at this point.
He could get fired, right? So now we're about halfway into the film. Okay, Shutter Island. Yeah, I actually saw a bit of Shutter Island recently, and that's kind of part of where the aesthetic comes in because they're wearing the trench coats and stuff. But so now this guy is driving home from the last crime scene. He's really pissed.
Yeah.
And I'm just imagining like a scene where his car's going down this really windy road, and he's the only road on the road. He's the only car.
Only road.
He's the only road in the car. And then all of a sudden, bang, car blows up. Oh, jeez.
Wait,
Is our protagonist dead?
the car that he's in?
The car that he's in, blown up. Bam, smithereens. Completely blown up. All in flames. And a figure approaches the car. Okay. And you see it. You see the figure reach into his pocket. He tapes a note onto the door of the car. All right. And now,
That's a serial
in the
killer.
midst of the flames,
Yeah.
it's a serial killer. In the midst of the flames, we pan around to the other side of the car, and you see his face. It's the detective. The detective's the serial killer.
That's what I was thinking. That's actually why I was thinking.
That's why he destroyed the evidence.
Yeah.
That's why he couldn't catch the killer, because he's the killer.
Okay, but why would he do that?
So now he's framed his own death.
Yeah.
Now he's eliminated himself as a suspect completely. He goes on a rampage, all right? Because now he's just home free, right? Because he can do whatever he wants. And I haven't decided how it ends yet, because I don't know if I want him to go on like a huge killing spree or not.
Does he get
or
caught?
If I want him to get
like,
caught.
Who wins? Yeah, like
I'm thinking maybe I want him to get caught. But yeah, that's what I was thinking, and the whole thing's
sick.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't want to say I called it, but I had someone was like, is he the murderer? Because when you were like, especially that bit when you were like, oh, he's chasing, like, you want to focus on him, you don't want to focus on the guy, because there's no guy, right? He's chasing no one. He's pretending.
He's not chasing anyone. He framed.
Oh, that's sick. Okay, my question is like, what's the motive? Like, why? Like,
so
is he just?
The bit that I was struggling with.
Does he just like killing, and he just wants to kill people, but he also?
I think so. Yeah.
But then why did he become a detective?
I don't know. I think it could just be a story of how a detective breaks down after he's seen so many crime scenes.
Oh yeah, I like that.
It could be that maybe he appreciates how, although everyone's obviously a different person, their bodies are all anatomically the same. So he appreciates that he can always do it the same way because he's very methodical.
Obviously, he's a bit crazy, but yeah.
Yeah. So
Tim is saying, "Don't let him get caught." Yeah, what do you think about that?
Make it open end.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it could go either way.
I'm trying to think, like, but because he's a protagonist, like, do you want him to lose? That's a really good idea.
That's what I'm thinking. I don't know.
That's
I don't know. See, yeah, that's the bit I was struggling with.
So
but the rest of it, pretty clear in my head.
Is he a serial killer first, or is he a detective first? Do you think he's a detective, then he's seen so many like murders, and he just, like, goes crazy basically, or
yeah, he's maybe traumatized by it, because he's obviously seen.
Yeah, I like that. Sick.
You know.
So is the first? Okay, so you know the first murder that he went to, did he also kill? Like, is he also the?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's responsible for all of the murders in the film.
That makes sense because it's consistent. Yeah. He's also detective. Oh man, okay. I think open end. You can then, if you make it open end, you can lead into like a sequel.
Ooh, I don't know if I want a sequel.
I don't know. Yeah, it's one of those films. I feel like I think both of our films are kind of like standard. You can't really be a sequel.
Yeah. I think so too.
I like that. That's a good idea.
I was inspired by because it's a very moody film. So there's a lot of scenes where it's just raining. And it's very stormy.
Yeah. And
the characters all wear trench coats, and I think it's set in the 50s, like after World War II.
Yeah. I think you mentioned that. Yeah.
So yeah, it's similar in that way, but yeah, I want it to be very much focused on one guy.
But yeah, that's a really cool story. I like your story. Yeah. Oh damn.
What do you think?
That's really good.
Do you have any questions?
My main question was, yeah, like as everyone else, like what happens at the end, right? Does he get caught? Does he not get caught? Like who wins?
Right.
I kind of agree with Tim a little bit. Like, I kind of prefer, like, he kind of, like, not gets away with it, but, like, I don't know, like, because it's about him, right? I feel like it's not, if he just gets caught and then, what, he just, like, the end credits him in prison, like, it's not, maybe he, like, goes to prison and escapes, I don't know.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see the end just being, it's still black and white, obviously.
Yeah.
You just get a single frame of, like, the bars.
Yeah.
And then, like, it flashed, like, the lights flicker. Yeah. Once he's there, lights flicker,
and then he's gone. Like he escaped. I think that's cool. Imagine he gets caught and then he escapes. That's cool because this guy obviously sounds like a really a mastermind. I think it's a really cool film. I'd watch that. I'd definitely watch that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I'd watch. That's my perfect.
Right, that's perfect film. You got to make it so that it's not obvious to the viewer that it's him who's the murderer somehow.
Yes. Yeah. So I mean, I think I was trying to get it across that he's the murderer when I was explaining it.
Yeah, that's
I was
why
using a lot of the same words like methodical and things like that.
Yeah.
And even the way I described how the chase was framed.
Yeah, that's
So,
what gave it. That's what gave it away
I
to me. I was like, yeah,
I think if you see it on a screen, it's less obvious. I'm
I
not
think so.
sure.
I mean, you just described like
but I want
if
to-
someone described the script, then it's often more obvious. Then yeah,
Oh yeah, but I think the thing that makes a good twist is that it can be predicted. Like I don't want it to just come out of nowhere. Like he's this amazing dude, and then all of a sudden you realize, wait, he's a murderer. Where did that come
yeah.
from?
You gotta have it
Like,
has
it's
to
gotta
tie.
be believable.
It has to make sense. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I think that's great. That's sick.
So I think that could work.